Hello and welcome back to Praying with Broken Hearts, Spirituality for Difficult Times. I'm Father Joseph, and this is Session 6, Praying Our Fears. When we're children, we have lots of fears. Maybe being afraid of the dark, being afraid of lightning. And then as we get older, we're kind of expected to not be afraid of anything at all. That if we're afraid of something, then people are going to make fun of us for it or something. And frankly, that's just not helpful. At its root, fear is that awareness of my own limitations, that awareness that, that spider could bite me. Ooh, what if the spider's venomous? Ooh, what if that snake is? And that awareness that, I'm not perfectly 100% control of everything around me. That as a human being, I'm in a world of other human beings and other creatures, and I am not in control of everything. And that's a hard lesson. Think about your own fears. What might they teach you? What are you ultimately afraid of? And I say that not as trying to downplay your fear. Please don't hear that. Being aware of our fears is saying, this thing triggers a response in my body and my brain. And so I'm going to be aware of it to know what to do when it comes up. Think about, like people who are afraid of people who look different from them. Ultimately, they're afraid about, that person signifies something to them. When the person's just possibly going to the grocery store, going up to pick up some pasta and marinara sauce, something delightfully boring. But we need to be aware of where that fear comes from so that way we know how to respond more wisely to it. To know, is this a real kind of threat? Is this a real kind of fear, or is it connected to something else? And do I need to grow? Do I need to face it head on? Do I need to be healed from it? In the Bible, the word fear is generally sort of paired up with fear of God. And so many people get this image of God that they're supposed to be afraid of God, that God is going to be angry, or God's going to come crush them, sort of thing. That sort of cowering in fear, as if God were like Godzilla about to squish you. And that's not the case. That fear of God is the awareness that God is God and we are human. We are limited, God is not. We are not in control of God. And that right there is probably the closest that it comes to fear as we experience it with creation. We can't control creation. We can't control other human beings. We can't control animals and plants. We cannot control all these things. Nor can we control God. God is free. God is able to do things that God wants to do. God will challenge us. God will challenge us to do what is right, to do justice in the world. And so that's where the fear of God comes in. We can't control God. We're not meant to control God. Nor are we really meant to control each other or control creation. We're meant to live in the midst of them and accept our limitations to make room for one another. So when you find yourself afraid, think of what might you learn from this? What are you really afraid of? Where does it sort of touch a nerve? Where does it hit in your spirit? Where does it make you feel limited and human? Simply to be a creature amongst creatures. And take a breath. And in that same moment, don't downplay that kind of physical reaction, heart racing or taking breaths, maybe fidgeting. It's okay. You are a child of God, and I'm now going to mean that. And imagine yourself as a child. You know, when a kid's afraid, they're still figuring out the world. You're still figuring out the world, and I'm still figuring out the world. So there's no need to get all angry or frustrated with ourselves about being afraid. We're figuring out, what does it mean to be in this wild world as I am? That's who I am as a human being. Here we are at the end of session 6. 6 more to go. I hope you've been enjoying this journey. I hope that it's been fruitful so far. If necessary, you might take a look back at some of the other sessions we've already done and see if anything else has come up for you, anything else that you might write down or reflect upon. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.